as we near the end of our liturgical year, our new year begins at the end of November with the first Sunday of Advent, we hear Jesus teaching us how to live. And he says something very easy. We live simply by loving. I want to share a few words about love. First is from King David, Psalm 63, 2-9, as he sang this song. O God, you are my God, for you I long. For you my soul is thirsty. My body pines for you, like a dry, weary land without water. So I gaze on you in the sanctuary to see your strength and your glory. For your love is better than life. My lips will speak your praise. So I will bless you all my life. In your name I will lift up my hands. My soul shall be filled as with a banquet. My mouth shall praise you with joy. On my bed I remember you. On you I muse through the night, for you have been my help. In the shadow of your wings I rejoice. My soul clings to you. Your right hand holds me fast. If you know anything about the history of King David, you know he loved God. Secondly, is a contemporary doctor named Lawrence Lenore, who speaks on successful aging in an article that appeared in New Theology Review, November 2010. And he says, the art of giving and receiving love is at the heart of growing old gracefully. Research shows that being in a loving relationship quiets the demons of depression and despair. So, if you want to be healthy, be loving. I think Jesus would agree. A wonderfully famous gospel. Jesus' adversaries come together and ask the question that was probably asked by so many rabbis during the time of Jesus. Which of all the commandments of the law is the greatest? And you can probably understand why when you know that there were 613 commandments in the law. The 10 that God gave Moses were duplicated and triplicated and quadruplicated till they got to 613. So they wanted to know, what's the easiest way? Give me the one simple way I could live my life by following that one commandment. And Jesus quotes the Shema, the Torah, the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy, verse 5, that every devout Jew says twice a day. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is your God, the Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. That's compassion. With all your soul. That's desire. And all your mind. That's decision. A wonderful quote from the Shema that every Jew would have understood. Then, what Jesus did is different than any other rabbi. He ties another of the commands in the Torah, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18, that says, love your neighbor as yourself, with that command to love God above all else, and makes it a unique commandment only to Jesus and only to us. How important is that commandment for us? Well, I'll show you. Balancing a glass of ice water on your head. Now you might just say, my head is flat, so it's easy. Balancing a glass of ice water on my head takes a great deal of practice, and it takes all of my focus and attention. And if Jesus were in our midst, I bet he would say that following the great commandment of loving God and loving our neighbor as ourselves is as important and takes as much practice and concentration as if you were walking and balancing a glass of ice water on your head. Have they had enough of attention? It isn't easy, is it? To put all of our attention on the great commandment, to love God above all else and love our neighbor as ourselves, when we have so many other things that demand our attention. School, relationships, children, youth, shopping, electronics, music, dancing, singing, you name it. So many things demand our attention, but what is consistent there is the word relationship. Relationship. It's so important in our lives, and we have two, according to Jesus. One is a vertical relationship, and that relationship is with God. How do we love God above all else? How do you love your best friend or your spouse? You spend time with your friend, right? That's how you show love for your friend. You spend time. How do we show God our love? We spend time in prayer, in adoration, in praise, and in thanks. Join me today in thanking God for a wonderful weekend of homecoming. Great weather, good people, good food, good tailgating, good friends coming together, good alum still here worshiping with us tonight. We praise and thank God. We have to find time for God in our busy schedules. No, sorry. We have to make time in our busy schedules for God. How many of you are morning persons? Morning persons. Those are like 8 o'clock classes. Yeah, very few in this room. I'm raising my hand because I am a morning person, and I know that about myself. So I know if I'm going to spend some quality time in that vertical relationship with God, I need to get up earlier than I need to get up. And I need to spend some quiet time, not speaking to God, but listening to God. That takes a lot of practice. I don't like balancing that. It takes a lot of practice. The other relationships we have are vertical, and that is our neighbor. How do we love our neighbor? Well, first of all, who is our neighbor? Not just the lovely neighbors that are next door to our house that we grew up. Because we had great neighbors on one side, and we had crabby neighbors on this side. In our friary where we live in Burlington, this side doesn't wave to us when we wave. They don't give us the time of day. This side, we talk and chat and ha-ha, ho-ho, hee-hee. That's all nice and good, but that's not just our neighbors, the people who live next to us. Our neighbors are everyone we come in contact with at any given moment of our day and our lives. Those we find very lovable and those that challenge us. Jesus didn't say, like your neighbor as you love yourself, did he? He said, love your neighbor. Remember, compassion, decision, desire. We have to choose to love our neighbor. Growing up, I had one older sister. And you know, we didn't like each other growing up. In fact, I'm going to confess, we didn't love each other for a long time. Okay? As we got older, we understood the commandment to love one another. It meant respect one another's space, respect one another's property. She went on to have a wonderful marriage and 3 boys, and I spoiled the heck out of them, and my sister and I are like this now. We are bosom buddies. Our neighbors are those who love us, and those that we find lovable, and those that aren't so lovable. Everyone. Easier to balance a glass of ice water on one's head than to love God above all else and to love our neighbor as ourselves. 5 simple words. Love God, love your neighbor. Easy to say, difficult to live. We have a lifetime to get it right. But as you and I both